Every night around 2 a.m., a woman would lie awake in bed. The room was silent. The world outside was asleep. But inside her mind, a storm was raging. She replayed conversations from years ago. Mistakes nobody else remembered. Embarrassing moments that lasted only seconds. Things she should have said. Things she should have done. Things she wished she could take back. The strange part, her life wasn't falling apart. She had people who loved her. A stable job. A roof over her head. Yet every night, her mind ignored all of it. Instead, it searched for problems, for regrets, for fears, for worst-case scenarios. And no matter how hard she tried to think positively, the negative thoughts always came back. Eventually, she asked herself a question millions of people ask every day. Why does my brain keep doing this to me? The answer is disturbing. Because your brain is not naturally addicted to happiness. Your brain is naturally obsessed with survival. And that's why negative thoughts are so powerful. The lie most people believe. Most people assume the human brain is designed to make them happy. But it isn't. Your brain has never had one primary job. To keep you happy. Its primary job is much simpler. To keep you alive. And from the brain's perspective, those are not the same thing. A happy person can still be in danger. But a vigilant person is more likely to survive. So the brain evolved to constantly search for threats, even when no immediate threat exists. Why negative thoughts feel stronger. Have you ever noticed something strange? One compliment can make you feel good for a few minutes. One criticism can stay in your mind for years. One success feels temporary. One failure feels unforgettable. This isn't weakness. It's psychology. The brain gives more attention to negative information than positive information. Psychologists call this the negativity bias, because throughout human history, missing a threat was far more dangerous than missing an opportunity. If your ancestors ignored danger, they didn't survive. If they ignored a beautiful sunset, nothing happened. So the brain learned an important lesson. Negative information matters more. And it still operates by that rule today. Your brain treats thoughts like threats. Here's where it becomes darker. Your brain often reacts to imagined threats the same way it reacts to real ones. A future disaster that hasn't happened. A conversation that might go badly. A rejection that may never occur. A problem that doesn't exist yet. The body still responds. The heart beats faster. Stress hormones increase. Anxiety rises. And your brain interprets all of this as evidence that the threat is important, which makes the thought even harder to ignore. The trap of overthinking. Most people believe overthinking helps them stay prepared. And sometimes it does. But often, overthinking becomes an addiction disguised as problem solving. The brain tells you, just think about it one more time. You'll find the answer. You'll finally feel better. But the answer never comes. Because the real goal was never solving the problem. The real goal was reducing uncertainty. And uncertainty cannot always be eliminated. So the cycle continues. Again, and again, and again. Why negative thoughts feel familiar. Another reason negative thinking becomes addictive is because familiarity feels safe. Even painful familiarity. If you've spent years worrying, your brain becomes accustomed to it. The pattern feels normal, predictable, comfortable in a strange way. Not because it feels good, but because it feels known. And the human brain often prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar peace. The hidden reward of negative thinking. This sounds strange, but negative thinking can secretly reward you. When you imagine worst-case scenarios, your brain creates an illusion of preparation. You feel like you're protecting yourself, like you're getting ahead of danger, like you're staying in control. But most of the time, you're simply rehearsing suffering that hasn't happened. Yet the brain mistakes this rehearsal for productivity, which is why people keep doing it. The brain's obsession with unfinished problems. The brain hates unanswered questions, unresolved fears, incomplete situations. Psychologists have found that unfinished experiences often stay active in the mind longer than completed ones. That's why your mind keeps returning to old arguments, past mistakes, embarrassing moments, unresolved conflicts. The brain keeps revisiting them because it wants closure. But some situations never provide closure, and the search itself becomes the prison. Why positive thinking often fails. Many people try to fight negative thoughts with forced positivity. But the brain doesn't trust positivity when it feels unrealistic. You can't simply tell your mind, everything is fine, when it believes danger exists. The brain sees that as denial. That's why positive affirmations sometimes feel hollow. Because the survival system is louder than wishful thinking. The dark truth about mental suffering. The darkest truth is this: your brain is not trying to hurt you, it's trying to protect you. But sometimes the protection system becomes overactive, like a smoke alarm that keeps ringing when there's no fire. The alarm isn't broken, it's too sensitive. And many people spend years fighting the alarm, instead of understanding why it's ringing. Breaking the addiction. The solution isn't to eliminate negative thoughts completely. That's impossible. The goal is to stop treating every negative thought as important. Because not every thought deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves your belief. Not every worry deserves your energy. Thoughts are visitors, not commands. And the moment you stop obeying every negative thought, its power begins to fade. Your brain is addicted to negative thoughts for one reason. It believes negativity keeps you safe. It scans for danger, predicts disaster, replays mistakes, questions the future. Not because it wants you to suffer, but because it wants you to survive. The tragedy is that a survival system designed for ancient dangers now spends its time fighting imaginary ones. And many people mistake that constant mental noise for reality. But reality is not every thought that enters your mind. Reality is what remains after the fear stops talking. The next time your mind drags you into another spiral of worry, remember this: your brain is doing what it was designed to do. But just because a thought appears, doesn't mean it's true. And just because your mind is preparing for darkness, doesn't mean darkness is coming. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop believing every warning your brain creates. Before you go, tell me in the comments, what's the negative thought your mind keeps replaying the most?